I'm Pamela Portnoy.
I'm Alexa Marie Anderson.
And no one's okay. Hi! We're here! We made it!
We made it!
We made it, and we are back! You guys, we have an amazing, amazing show for you today. Our guest today is the multi-talented Brittany Bertier. Is that how you pronounce your last name? Please tell me. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Got it.
Pam.
I literally
Got it.
It came out and I was praying. So yay! She is an actor, writer, producer, photographer, social media manager. She's performed in various films and television projects, including Transplants, Atypical, and Doublemint Bitch, which I really need to ask you about. And she actually took a lot of the photos that you guys see on our Instagram. She's ridiculously talented. So we're going to talk about how she does it all the creativity, all the productivity, all the things.
All the things.
So many things. I love
Brittany.
shooting you guys. That was the best. You guys are just too photogenic. So
Oh, you're so sweet.
She's too
Can't
sweet, you
take it
guys.
What the heck?
You guys,
That
like,
was a
full
lot of fun.
disclosure, it was so much fun.
It
And full
was.
disclosure, like, Brittany is such a dream to have on the show because Alexa and I had auditions this morning and we were horrified to have to push this interview. So thank you for being so flexible and kind
Oh my
and
gosh.
wonderful.
The joys of quarantine. It's like anything goes, man. It's fine.
Just roll with it.
Yeah, and I'm
roll
just
with it.
happy you guys had opportunities. Like that makes me feel hopeful and excited for the future of our industry. So
We
that
need a
stuff's
little
happening.
hope these days.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll take it where I can get it. I think that, anytime I hear someone else doing a little better, it can only mean good things for everybody. So I was
Totally.
happy
Nice.
to push for 30 minutes.
You're the sweetest. So,
Nothing.
Brittany, tell our listeners a little bit about yourself. Like, where are you originally from and how did you get into acting?
I'm originally from Massachusetts, where I am now for quarantine. Came
Yay.
out to be with my family, and my husband and I are staying at his parents' house in Cape Cod, but we are both originally from Western Massachusetts. And I got into acting. There were school plays, just like every other kid that loves, I think, the stage. You kind of find it as a child. And I loved doing the school musical. And that's how I fell in love with it. And then I went through like a little bit of feeling some stage fright as a kid, like once I was a teenager. And so I backed off from performing for a little bit. And then toward the end of high school, I was like, wait, there's nothing else I love as much as that. And I went back to it. And then I went on to study it and pursue it professionally.
How did you get over stage fright? Because I'm ashamed to admit, I still get nervous. Like,
I do too. So professional.
it is professional. I like your setup so much.
Oh, thanks. I still get it too. I think if you listen to a lot of interviews from various actors, as I'm sure you guys have, like most people still do get nervous because if you care about it, you get nervous. And
Yeah.
unless it's a show that you've been doing forever and it's just in your blood, you've done it for years or something like that. But I think it's good to have a certain amount of nerves. You just don't want it to inhibit your performance, which I am 100% sure will happen to me. You guys can tell me how it was for you today, but coming back after this like quarantine hiatus to the real deal, I feel like the nerves are going to play in because it's going to be like, whoa, we're back,
Yes.
Totally. I experienced that a couple days ago, which was like my first one that I did outside of my own home. And I went to a friend that has a studio and I did it with him. And it was like a very short piece and it was like 13 takes. I was just like, she's rusty. Let's get out that nervousness.
Yeah. And especially too, if you're not, I'm not a huge self-tape fan.
Mm-mm.
And so now that it has, turned over to, it's pretty much all self-tapes right now. That makes me more nervous. I'm much more comfortable being in the room with people. And so having to like be in front of a camera and sometimes even acting with someone over Skype is so nerve-wracking to me. And I just like, I overthink everything and like, I'm a little bit of a mess.
Well, it's hard. It
Yeah.
feels like if you know even a little bit in the back of your brain that you can stop and do something better, the
Right.
perfectionist in you is like, let's do that again. And you can't do that like a million times over and then have a fresh performance. So it's just nicer to be in a room with people where you can just kind of let go of that stuff and be like, I've got one shot and I'm just going to do it.
And you like trust
think.
your instincts better. I feel
Yes.
like when I'm self-taping, I don't trust my instincts. Like you said, like I do something and then I'm like, wait a second, I could have done this. Like, let me try that. And then it's too much. The waters get muddy.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it is in itself its own art form, which I'm sure we'll all get better at because I don't think self-tapes are going away. They're just going to become like, I think, the new normal for a lot of stuff. But it's definitely not ideal, especially I think for us who we grew up auditioning in rooms. But I think generations behind us may grow up auditioning on tape. So they might love it, you know, but we know like the real thing. And I like that so much better.
Totally. Yeah. You were mentioning the taking it back a moment to like want to redo it. I actually had that instinct today when I was doing my tape. But I can be so hard on myself because I'm like, oh, if I have the thought to take it back, then it means I'm already out. But I decided to just roll with it anyway and like use the mistake as a part of like what was going on in the scene. And it actually ended up working, which
That's
like
good.
those happy accidents are so much fun.
Yeah.
Well, I think accidents are good. It shows you to especially if casting's in the room, like it shows you to them a little bit. I don't know. Cause think about how many people come in and just say it perfectly the way that they
Right.
rehearsed
It becomes a little bit more authentic that way.
Yes. I think so too.
Yeah. I agree. Being a kid that grew up in the theater and all of that, how has the theater scene been for you out like on the West Coast? Like I know like I'm from the East Coast as well, so it's a little bit different.
Wait, what part of the East Coast are you from?
I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Oh, that's right. I asked you that when we shot. Yes, East Coast.
Yes.
Well, I weirdly didn't really know anything about theater on the West Coast when I came out, and I had just gotten my Actors Equity card. I was like 23. I was so young, and I didn't have a real agent in the city, in New York City. That's where I was at the time, and I just felt very much like, okay, I don't know how to really stand out in this pool of seasoned Broadway professionals without an agent and without the resume. You know, I was just getting very lost. So I ended up being out in LA for a period of time to pursue like TV and film, but I ended up staying because I was actually getting seen for more New York theater in LA than I was getting seen for in New York. And I got an agent easily. And I was like, okay, like,
That's amazing.
That's
it was
awesome.
so weird.
So you would audition on the West Coast to perform on the East Coast?
Yep, I got my first Broadway appointment, and I flew back for that. It was for Newsies at the time.
Ooh.
Yeah. I don't know if it was that I had an agent now, but the same agent that I have now is the guy that I had been pursuing him since I was in New York. But he didn't sign me till I was in LA. It was just so weird.
So fascinating.
Yeah, it was so weird. And then I remember I was in callbacks for the first rendition of Heathers and stuff like that. And I was just like, I don't get seen for stuff like this in New York. So I stayed. And I feel like theater on the West Coast you definitely have to get used to it because it's different than the East Coast in that there's lesser equity theater, but at the same time, there's more regional houses all along the coast of like the Western coast. So I don't know. I started working and I got like at least one decent contract a year and then lots of like little workshops and cabaret. And I was like, well, this is fun. And I just loved it. Yeah.
That was one thing that really struck me about you because you and I met at a table read years ago, but kept in touch through years ago, but we kept in touch through social media, which is like one of the lovely things about social media. What struck me is like, I would like occasionally like see what you were up to and I saw your reel and it had like so much, first of all, her voice, you guys, is unbelievable. Yes. But she had like so much like musical theater stuff you had on your reel. And I was like, it's so interesting that you're like getting all this like theater and musical theater stuff in LA. Wild.
It's weird. I know. It's one of those things that I would have never I would have never foreseen at all. And then it just became like, well, I want to stay here. If I can keep doing theater and doing like, I was still doing like, at the time I was non-union for TV and film. So I was doing lots of like commercial work and short films and stuff like that. So it was just fun. But yeah, I never would have guessed.
That's so cool. That just goes to show that there's really no rhyme or reason sometimes. Like how there's no rules really.
Mm-mm.
Absolutely.
It's all about relationships. And I found it was just easier for me to make those relationships in LA than in New York, because it was like, oh, she came here from New York and we don't have that many, we don't have that many people from New York or whatever. The musical theater pool was just smaller. And so I started making like a friendship with Michael Donovan in his office. And it's really, I think largely because of him that I stayed, because he called me in for everything. And I didn't book for like the first 2 years. I would get callbacks, but like never ever book. And I was like, I'm going to book something. I'm going to stay till I book. And then he's probably responsible for most of my jobs.
That's awesome.
So,
awesome. Yeah.
That's really cool. And as we mentioned before, you're like a super multifaceted creative, and as we mentioned, you also shot Us, and you have great photography skills. How did you get into the photography, and how do you was that what opened the door to social media management for you, and how do you stay inspired to do all that?
Well, I think so. I loved Instagram back in like the 2013 or whatever it was that I moved out to LA. I started getting really into Instagram as a creative outlet in between jobs. I go on like road trips, and I just loved taking pictures different places. And then I had a really good friend at the time who was starting a blog. So she was really high up in marketing in New York City and then moved out to LA. And so she taught me how to take pictures of her because I did not know what I was doing. And I was like, what do you mean? This is the same frame as you wanted. And she was like, no. And she showed me angles, and she showed me just all the technical aspects that I never thought of. And I really learned photography and how to like market content through her, basically just through being friends with her and helping her build her blog. And then I guess friends just were starting to ask me to take pictures of them because I had a camera and I was doing my own photos. And so then I just started charging a small fee because I was like busy, and I was like, well, if I start doing this and make a little money from it, maybe I can do it more. And then it became fun, and then it just kind of took off, and the social media management part kind of happened at the same time.
It kind of goes hand in hand a little bit, right?
Kind of, yeah. I don't know if that's something that most social media managers do, if they also create all the content or in person, like with photography, or if they are given photography and then they create the content. But for me, I could just do both. And I had been caroling with the Tinseltones. I think, didn't we talk about this before?
Yes, I think you mentioned that when we were shooting with you.
Yeah. And they were like, we're starting a new Instagram. We need a manager. And I was like, yeah, I could do that. Like, I know everything about you guys, and I enjoyed managing my own. So yeah, it just kind of happened. It just all kind of happened. It was weird. And it's been a fun side gig and a good way. I mean, right now it's saving me when I can't really act. I've just been doing social media management from home. And so it's been a blessing. I don't really know what I would have done.
Yeah, it's good to have that, like have multiple. I feel like it's really good to have other outlets too, besides just acting. It just makes you like, I don't know, it everything informs everything else, right?
Yeah,
like
that's absolutely true.
And your social media management. Like I feel like it's all just very helpful tools that you have in your toolbox.
Yes, in my little toolbox.
You have a very large toolbox, Brittany.
I feel sort of like a master of none, though. Do you know what I mean? Where you're like,
no, don't say that.
No, that's not true at all. That's not true at all.
So not true. And actually, I've been dying to ask you about. So I want to know how you came up with your Martha Vineyard character. Because I'm a fan.
Yeah. Speaking of Instagram.
Yes. Speaking of Instagram.
Let's hear it. She's so fun.
She's so funny.
So last June, I randomly, my manager was like, make a tape for SNL. And I was like, what? And so I had to do like 6 sketches, which I'd never done just sketches before. I'd done sketches within my web series that I created with my 2 friends. But it's called Transplants, but I had never just done random sketches. So I didn't really know what to do. So I like did a lot of research and I started creating these characters and I sent them in and I was like, that was really fun. And I feel like I want to learn more about this. So when I came home for family vacation to Cape Cod, the day that I flew, I happened to work for some billionaire on the 4th of July and they gave us like the white shorts and the blue polo. And I was like, this is so Cape Cod. Like I'm going to bring it and make a character. So I was going to make her like an uppity Cape Cod woman. But then I found this ridiculous Afro wig in my brot's truck. I was like, what is this from? And
what was it from?
Yes. I have more questions now.
We all have questions. I was like, where is this from? And he was like, it's my friend's. We still don't know. It was definitely not like a hooker wig because it's not an attractive wig. I'm guessing it was from like some prank. I don't know. But I put that wig on and then my mom had this ridiculous like safari looking hat with the string. And I was like, oh, I'm going to make her this woman. And I just named her Martha Vineyard because that was funny.
Yeah.
I love it so much.
And I just started riffing with my family and they were so annoyed and they had people coming over and they'd be like, oh my God, I'd be like over in the corner in the wig doing stuff.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. I love that.
And yeah, and then when I came here during quarantine, I was like, she lives on, let's do more. Cause like, I didn't know what else to do. And all I know is that when I do dumb stuff like that, it makes me feel better. Like I'm doing something.
It's not dumb. I think it's hilarious. I watch them and I'm dying. I think they're so funny. And honestly, they make me happier. Like I remember watching the first one during quarantine. I was like, oh, this is so nice. Like I'm laughing. Like this is so good.
Oh,
so
it's super joyful and fun to watch for sure.
Thank you.
You just remind me, have you ever seen the show Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee?
I've only seen one episode with Jerry Seinfeld. Is it his show?
It's his show.
Okay.
So there's an episode that he interviews that he does with Will Ferrell.
Yes.
And they talk about his SNL audition. And you just reminded me of that so much because his character originated from the fact that it was like he was being a cat. And he was like playing with cat toys. And he was this guy that just liked to play with cat toys at a party. And then people would be like, don't mind him. He's just doing his thing in the corner. And that was like exactly what you were just saying.
I feel like it has to come naturally like that. Like if you sit down and you're like, okay, I'm going to come up with a character, like it's going to be so difficult. You're probably going to come up with something that's so like, it's so not authentic. And so like, I love that story that you had this job and you got the outfit and that like informed the whole thing. Like that's so fun.
Yeah, I just kind of get ideas. If I try to make something happen, it just doesn't work. So I kind of wait, and I just got a book because sometimes I get a lot of ideas like in a row and then I forget them. So I've started to just write them down. Because if I try to sit and think of something, it's like with writing. I don't know if you guys write at all, but I'm sure
I haven't in a while. I used to a little bit.
Yeah, most actors do at some point when you're like, I'm going to write my own stuff. And then when you sit down and try to make something happen, it's like so frustrating rather than if you just get an idea. So I guess that to answer your previous question that I didn't answer about inspiration, because I'm always going through bouts of none and then tons and then none. It's it always kind of comes to me when I'm feeling happy, when I'm like investing in my relationships and my life instead of becoming obsessed with work and being good, because that is the quickest way for me to like lower my frequency and just empty out my idea pool, you know?
That's amazing advice, honestly, like what you just said, because I think about that all the time. As soon as I start like getting like anxious about like, oh, I got to do this for my work and this for my job and blah, 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 like it's my creativity kind of goes away. It's like all out the window. And so it's really about working on yourself at the end of the day and investing in those relationships. Like you said, I think that's really amazing advice. I'm going to take that.
Thank you. I mean, I'm always working on it. It's something that I feel like I got really bad about in the middle of quarantine. I was just so in my head, like, am I even an artist anymore? When am I going to work again? Kind of thing. Yeah. And then now I'm kind of like getting back out of that through different like reading different books. Like The Artist's Way is so helpful. I don't know if you guys
I have that, but I haven't opened it up yet.
It's so good. And she's the one that I first found the whole idea of you have to fill your creative well, even if it's painting with watercolors for a day or like 15 minutes or going on a walk. Like you have to do things like that, because my 20s were just marked with nose to the grindstone, and I burn out by the time I hit 30. And
Yes.
I was like, what did I do wrong? And it's like, oh, you're not really like living in your life. You're just sort of working to get somewhere. And that's kind of not a way to live or a place to create from. After a little while, you just run out.
Yeah, I experienced that too. I remember like most of my 20s, I was doing like class once a week, plus rehearsals for class, plus like 3 workshops a week, plus my side gig, plus like all other like normal life stuff. And like, yeah, that's tiring.
It's really something about being in your 20s, you can do it. And then like, you guys are still in your 20s, but like toward the end of the 20s and into your 30s, you're like, wait,
I'd like
wait.
to say that I am, but
Are you in your 30s? Are you 30 club? Can't tell.
Alexa is enjoying what's left.
I am in my 20s, but I think this is such powerful advice for me, because I feel that right now. Like I
Oh my
really,
God.
like you're speaking to me, because I don't take enough time. Like I'm nose to the grindstone, exactly what you said. Like, and I need to take more time for myself. And I think quarantine has been a realization of that for sure. But I'm still working on it. It's also hard to do when you like, I don't know. It's also hard to do, but you need to do it. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Oh, totally. It's just this total struggle between what you know you need to do and doing it.
Mhm.
And I think that it comes from a good place. It comes from your place of motivation and wanting to share your gift and create. But then somewhere along the line, it becomes more about getting than giving. For me,
Yes.
at least. It's like, well, I'm not getting enough roles. I'm not getting enough what's the word? Like momentum. I'm not getting, instead of the giving. It's like at some point it kind of teeter-totters, and our whole job is to keep it in the place of giving, because then it's way more fun and
Absolutely.
people want it more. That's what she said.
We have a lot of that's what she said jokes on the show, and I love it. It's like
I love it so much. I think that's so interesting that you were talking about the like just letting it go. That's sometimes when you are your most creative. I was listening to a Dave Chappelle interview, and he was talking about how that works sometimes, because sometimes you'll just be chilling in your pajamas and the idea will roll up in its car and be like, let's go. And he's like, well, I'm not dressed. Like, I'm not ready. Okay, get in anyway. It's happening. And he's like, all right. And then he's like, it doesn't work when I'm like, well, maybe I should drive. And the idea is not in the car.
Totally. Yes.
That's exactly it.
Yeah. You can't be like, I'm going to drive now, but where there's no idea there's no inspiration, there's nothing around.
Nope.
No.
Where are you going?
Like 2 different parts of your brain.
Yeah.
So it's like if your logical mind is trying to control the artistic side, it just doesn't work. You have to like let that part take over and just let it do its thing, basically.
But like the nerves thing, it's like so hard to let go of that.
And that's what the nerves is. Yeah. Well, the Artist Way is great for that, because she immediately makes you stream of consciousness journal 3 pages every day. And that is like the best way to get your logical brain to shut up, because if you don't stop, then you don't allow it to interrupt. And you get all of the garbage you're thinking, you can get all the negativity out or whatever.
That's going to take some time for me.
It's
a lot of unloading.
I think for everybody.
Yeah.
But I think you'll find it's a really helpful exercise, and it's crazy because it's almost like you flip into your artistic brain and you're able to do the stuff that you did before all of the, life responsibilities and worrying set in.
Mm-hmm.
It helps you almost uncover it. And it's a big task. It's a lot of writing, but it's so helpful.
That's great. I'm definitely going to open it up and check that out.
Yeah, I need to get that for sure. I don't.
You should.
And
I highly recommend it.
Yeah.
I literally have never gotten all the way through it, because at some point I'll like literally get back in the groove and book a job and then forget about it. And then I'm like, oh, now I'm out of alignment. I need to go back to the beginning, and I think Pam, what's her name? Jenna Fisher from The Office.
Yes. I just read her book.
Yes. She credits like a lot of the like symmetry in her life around the time of The Office to that book. Just it like kind of got her in the flow, and she was like already doing mockumentary stuff on her own. And then that happened. It's just kind of crazy how it works, because it gets
like
you
she was a receptionist.
Yes, that's right. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So she just like knew. It's amazing. You guys have to let me know what you think if you read it.
Absolutely.
For
I'm
sure.
definitely going to read
Okay.
it. Yeah, I want to do that.
So you mentioned that you have been more like relaxed in your approach and just kind of taking it as it comes. How do you keep everything that you do balanced? Because you do so much. You're one of those people that I will watch from afar and I'm like, what's she doing? How's she doing it?
For real.
Tell me.
That's insane because I literally look at everybody else like, what am I doing wrong? How can I not stay on top? I have to be honest, like balance has not been my strong suit during quarantine at all. I feel like I could be doing so much more. And I think we probably all feel that way. Like we measure ourselves by productivity, and I've been trying not to do that. So I manage a couple of social media accounts, and so I have to do that at a certain time of the day. So that kind of breaks up my day, and I try to use the mornings for self-care time, whether it's like a walk or like go to the coffee shop. There's like an outdoor one here that I love. Meditating, or usually it starts with reading something, even if it's fiction, just something to like, I don't know, just like invest in time by myself. And then I do the social media work. But I'm constantly like between my own passionate endeavors and then the job, right? Even though we're at home, it's like, that's the constant artist thing. So I just try to keep a list of all the things I want to do, and I definitely don't get them all done, but it always feels good on the days when I do. If I do record a sketch or write a sketch or edit something, it feels so good. But yeah, I'm definitely always figuring out the balance. I don't know what the secret is. And I look at these girls on Instagram, I'm like, how do you do everything that you're doing? It's insane. Maybe that's just the way it all looks.
I feel like that could definitely be it.
Yeah.
That could definitely be it. Are you a morning person?
No, I work so hard to be a morning person, but I've literally had to work even harder at it since quarantine, because I'm like, I could just sleep. I don't have to work till noon, unless, well, I like to work on my own stuff before then, but like no one's sitting there making me. So yeah, it's been a struggle to like, I try to get in bed at 10:30. And then I try to get up at 7 or 6:30, but a lot of times it ends up being like 8. And I hate that because then I feel like I'm starting late.
That's interesting. That's one thing that I've kind of like looked at. I don't know how you've been feeling about this, Alexa, because you are a morning person, but
that's amazing.
I will like plan out my day in my head the night before. I'm like, well, I'm going to get up early. I'm going to do my workout and I'm going to do my work. And then the evening will be for me.
Yes.
But my body doesn't like that.
Oh.
And so like I'll like my body likes to have like a long luxurious breakfast and like just chill with my oatmeal, maybe watch something, read something, work out in the afternoon, and then I'll be like, well, the day is over. But that's when my body wants to start doing the work.
That's so interesting. You just have to go with that.
Yeah. I was going to say, I was like,
but that's not how it should be. But I need to like give myself a break. Yeah,
right,
I know.
Exactly.
It's
I
just
feel
weird.
Like whatever works for you. Like, I feel like whoever said like all the work needs to be, you need to wake up early and do all the work then, like maybe that's for some people, but that's not for everyone. I think it's normal to have a different schedule.
Everybody that I have listened to has on different podcasts has said, I find the time that I feel my most productive and I schedule my most important things for that time. So you just have to go with your body. I think for me, I was like, I don't know what I am anymore, because I was like a morning person for a little while before we got married. And then I think adding another person into the mix, something about that has kind of like thrown off my sleeping rhythm, or I don't know. But I used to feel like I did my best work in the morning, and now it's starting to feel like late morning, because by evening I'm definitely done. I'm like, I want to chill out and enjoy some time with my husband. So I would say just go with what you're feeling and schedule stuff for later in the day and see how that goes.
Yeah, I think that that's a good idea. And I just need to give myself a break. I think Alexa and I have talked about this before on the show. Like there's this, not taboo, but like there's a stigma about, people that are night owls, that they're almost like considered to be lazy because they're not getting up at 5, going to the gym and starting their day and getting all their work done by noon. you know? That's kind of like in magazines that I've read and articles I've read, it's like all these like very successful people in the world are doing that, and I'm like, well, that's what but my body doesn't like it, so I just need to like get rid of that.
I think it's more like the mentality of we've all had the roommate who like stays up all night doing nothing and then sleeps all day the next day. I think that's the mentality that's being attached to the night owl rather than the person who's productive at night.
Like when my parents would be like they would hate it when I would like sleep in past 8.
Yes.
They'd be like, you're lazy,
Yeah, but you're not. And it doesn't matter when you're getting your work done if you're getting your work done. I think that the whole laziness thing, which first of all, like our culture we judge ourselves by productivity way too much, I think. So that's a whole other thing. But I think that's more like if you're not getting any work done, then fine, something needs to change. But if you're getting all your stuff done, or at least like the good portion of it that you want to accomplish for yourself, who cares when it is?
That's so true.
Yeah.
Like, who cares? Everybody's body is different. There are people who don't really even need sleep. And then people like me who need like 8 to 9 hours.
If it's like not 9 hours, I'm like a monster.
I'm the same way.
I feel like I'm just gonna snap one day because I'm that person that I feel like I don't need that much sleep, but I'm like, do I? And I'm just not like.
I'm so jealous of you. That
like, is
awesome.
it anxiety though, or do I really not need this?
I feel like you would know if you really need it. There are some people, like I think Ryan, I can't remember his name. The guy who married Blake Lively. What's his
Ryan
name?
Reynolds.
Oh, Ryan
Reynolds. He says he only needs like 4 hours of sleep a night. He's got kids and stuff.
To be honest with you, like if I sleep too much, it makes me tired.
That happens too. That happens.
Like if I sleep too much, it makes me tired. Like there'll be like a couple of times I've noticed like my alarm goes off and I'm like up, but I have like time, so I'll push snooze and I'll like put myself back to sleep. And then when I wake up, again, I'm like a zombie. And I'm like, oh, I should have just gotten up when my alarm went off. Like, what the heck? I was up then.
Yeah.
It's weird.
No, I think for me, I don't have that moment of I'm up. So I snooze. I don't feel like I have a non-zombie option available to me. Every once in a while, I will pop out of bed before my alarm and I'm like, this feels so great. Or like if I'm around like my sister-in-law for vacation this year, she gets up every day at like 6. So I was getting up every day at like 6 because like there was other stuff happening. I don't know. Yeah. I'm still figuring that out, but I do know that for me, when I do start earlier, I do feel better. It's just like I'm somewhere between you and you, Pam.
Yeah.
Somewhere in the middle.
Yay, that makes me happy.
Yes, we have everything on the spectrum right now. I love it.
Yeah, and it's all okay.
And it's all right, exactly. And it's all okay. I love that.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. Brittany, what have you been watching in quarantine? Anything good? Let us know.
So much. I never watched television really before getting married. Like I would watch an occasional show, but I never had cable, and I would just kind of like, I was working night jobs a lot. I just never watched TV. So I've been doing a lot of catch up. I watched all of Westworld. One of my favorites has been Sharp Objects. Have you guys?
I haven't seen that yet. Is that Amy Adams?
Yes.
Okay, I need to check it out.
By Gillian Flynn, the writer of Gone Girl. I tried to read that book years ago and it was like a little too dark for me to read, but the show is just dark enough. It is incredible. My favorite thing that I watched. We rewatched all of The Office, obviously.
Nice.
Like who hasn't done that?
Yeah.
Right now we're on Ozark. I gave that another try. The first time around, I was like, I don't know if I like this show. And now we've just gone through so many shows that we're like, this is pretty good. It's good. It's really good. It's just like, I like more of like a psychological thriller and less of like a shoot, gun thing. But what have you guys been watching?
You guys, I think I'm going to throw myself under the bus when I say this. I've been watching a lot of things, but I just recently started watching, which I should have watched. I'm very, very, very late to the party. I started watching Breaking Bad 2 nights ago.
I haven't started Breaking Bad.
I know. I'm sorry. I knew I said it. I was going to throw myself under the bus.
Guys,
I'm sorry.
Okay,
I'm glad I'm not alone, though. I'm so happy I'm not alone.
Told you I'm behind.
Did it not appeal to you before or ever, Brittany?
I honestly think I just like didn't have access to it. What's it on?
I think it's on Netflix.
Oh, had access then. I don't know.
Oh no.
I really like writing and like aspiring to comedy. So I'm all over comedies before I got married. And now that I'm married and we like actually sit down and watch television tonight, like at night, because we're like old and boring. Now I'm like really catching up on stuff. So maybe that will be. I've also never seen Game of Thrones.
Okay, that I find a little more acceptable, even though
Okay.
I'm sure our listeners are probably like, "What is wrong with them if they're not watching Game of Thrones?" But I watched all the way through like the last season, and then I gave up.
I tried to
I
watch
was
Game of
binging.
Thrones. Maybe
Oh,
I
you
should
didn't
try
like
it
it?
again. I don't know. Not that I didn't like it. I just think I need to do it again. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? Like, when you start watching a show and you're just like not in the right mindset to watch that type of show, like it's very dark
Yeah.
and gruesome and things like that. I just don't think I was in the right. And like you, I often lean towards comedic things.
Mm-hmm.
So, because it makes me happy.
Well,
So,
especially in quarantine. Yeah.
yeah,
You're like,
exactly.
I want to laugh. I want to forget
Right,
everything.
exactly. I want to forget. So I think I need to try it again. I need to try it after Breaking Bad.
Yeah, how is Breaking Bad going for you?
Yeah.
It's actually going great.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's really good. I
need
was
to
like,
watch it.
oh, I don't know if like I know I've heard so many people talk about it. I knew I was super late to the party, and I hear it's amazing. I just never, like I said, never sat down that much to watch TV until quarantine started, and now I'm keeping it a habit, even though I'm back to my side hustle. So yeah, just watching more things and things that I wouldn't normally gravitate to.
Yeah.
But I'm finding that I like them, so that's good.
I know that is a blessing. A silver lining of 2020 is you're in the mindset to watch stuff because you got the time.
Exactly.
Do you and your husband have tastes in television that mesh well?
We have we got two different circles. They kind of like overlap in the middle. Like we both love New Girl, The Office, kind of comedies, 30 Rock. And then we both love psychological thriller.
Nice.
Another one that I watched was The Sinner. I don't know if you guys have seen The Sinner.
Is that Jessica Biel?
She's in the first season and she produces the whole series. That was exceptional for psychological thrillers. Like, so we watch a lot of those together, but then he loves like dumb bro movies and I do not watch those with him. And I love like a lot of indie and he doesn't really enjoy those. So we do overlap, but then also have like other interests as like most women and men sort of do. I'm like, I don't watch, this again, Dumber and Dumber. I've seen it a million times.
That's amazing.
Speaking of Dumber and Dumber, I feel like that's a film that like a lot of men watch over and over again. Like I remember growing up and my dad and brother watching it like for the 51st time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay.
I know, it just sticks.
It's funny.
They just watch James Bond movies
good.
over and over again and like fall asleep to James Bond movies. And I'm like, how is this relaxing? I don't understand.
That's so funny. I'm weird because I watch a lot of those similar shows. I've never seen New Girl, which that's probably my little confession I should make.
That is a confession.
That is a confession.
It's
but
so good.
Alexa hasn't watched Parks and Rec.
Oh, I freaking love Parks and Rec.
Parks and Rec and The Office are like my favorites.
Have to watch. Oh, she's just beyond. She's so good. It's my dream to be on an ensemble comedy like that. So I really gravitate to them.
You would do so well on one of those.
It would just be so fun. And that's the thing that I've realized the most from quarantine is like, yeah, I can stand here and do Monologue Monday all I want, which I didn't because I hate doing that stuff. But acting is fun because you're with other people. It's not
absolutely
fun when you're by yourself.
Yeah. It was a challenge. My acting class is on a little hiatus right now, but we were doing monologues into Zoom like this, and it was definitely valuable, but I was so hesitant. Like it just didn't feel right to me.
Yeah, I get
like performing into right there. It's just very strange to me.
No, totally.
I don't get to feel the other person's vibe.
It changes everything.
It does.
But we do have to get used to it now, unfortunately, because I think that's how like a lot of callbacks and like producer sessions and things like that are going to be from now on.
I've done some monologue auditions, which I'm fine to do because it's for a purpose, but I was not the girl at the beginning of quarantine, like posting monologues on my Instagram. I just couldn't do that. It's something about it just didn't feel right to me. And one of my best friends, her manager was trying to get her to, and she was like, no, I really don't want to. I really just don't want to
Yeah.
record a monologue and put it on my social media. And I think that that's okay. It's a community-based art. And if you don't want to just do a random monologue by yourself for no reason other than personal promotion, I think that's okay. You can find a different way to
Yeah.
promote. I wrote a sketch, and my friend and co-producer for our web series, Trip, and I filmed it in different states and then edited it together. And like, to me, that was way more fun than like giving a dramatic monologue from my bedroom. I just you lose so much of it in the screen, just like
From my
Barry,
bedroom.
why could you? Yeah, it was not my jam. I was like, no.
I'm wearing my blouse and my PJ bottoms.
Yes,
For real.
exactly. So instead, we did a sketch about actors trying to promote themselves during quarantine, because that was something that felt so true to me. And I didn't make fun of people doing monologues or anything like that, but made fun of things I was doing. Like, I'm doing so much writing, but then like just sitting there and like not writing.
I loved that sketch. It was really good.
Thanks.
That was awesome.
Also very relatable.
Totally.
You're like, I'm gonna, like, I think that was one of my first thoughts during quarantine. I was like, I'm gonna be a writer now.
Yep. And we all
And
went
then I'm like,
there. And then we sit down and we're like, I have an idea. And I don't know where to start.
well, yeah.
Oh my gosh. It's all okay.
What have you picked up any like hobbies, like any extraneous hobbies during this time? Like, I picked up knitting for a second.
You did?
I did.
And you
and-
stopped now?
I mean, I was going hard. Like,
I want to see.
I made a lot of scarves, and
In LA.
I did. Yes,
I have one of the scarves.
I gave Alexa a scarf for her birthday. Her birthday is in August. It's sweltering outside. I'm like, happy birthday.
It's a beautiful scarf. I'm gonna wear it someday. Very nice color.
I love that. I want to see some of your work. You could sell it. You could make an Etsy shop.
Yeah, you could.
Thank you. Maybe. I have a couple other projects with it that I have in mind, which I'm excited about. But for like gifts and things.
Ooh.
But I just found that like that was so the vibe of like, well, I have all this time on my hands. I'm gonna master a new craft.
Yeah.
But I like put it down. But I want to
Well,
pick it back up.
It served a purpose. And now you know how to do it. So
Were
you
there
could
any
be on
weird ones like
set.
that you picked up?
Not really weird ones that I can think of, but
Not
I
that
did
knitting
take up.
is that weird.
No. Actually, most actors I feel like pick up knitting at some point on set to like do something while they're waiting, for a scene. I took up bike riding. I loved bike riding for a minute, and then I tilted my coccyx from so much bike riding. Like literally.
How does that work?
I don't know, you guys, but yeah, basically I can't bike ride for a little while it's like kind of, I think I just rode my bike so much that
Is it super painful?
it's kind of painful to like sit down for a while and stuff. It'll be fine. I'm going to a chiropractor, got to figure it out. So definitely rode my bike too much, but it was so much fun. First of all, it's the best form of exercise because you're sitting down and then wind and
Yes.
you're going through beautiful places. Like, I've always wanted to stay on the Cape longer than a couple weeks, and I never have until now. So there's a big bike trail that goes through a great part of the whole Cape. And so I was like, I'm going to go really far. And it just became my daily Zen thing. I would like bike to the lake or bike to the coffee shop. So I did that for a long time. And I don't regret a single second of it. It was awesome.
That sounds great.
Yeah. I think that's pretty much it. Oh, baking. Like I've gotten extreme with the baking.
Baking while singing.
Yes.
Baking while singing. Yes. Yep.
I love
Always
it.
singing. I love baking, and my poor husband is like, I really just want to have ice cream now. Like it was really good. I had your cake 3 days in a row. Like now I really just want an Oreo cookie. And I'm like, fine. But that brings me a lot of joy, especially now that we're entering like fall and it's getting a little cold out. Just love a good carb.
Yes.
Amazing. How long has it been since you got married? Has it been a year?
It will be a year in November. So late
Congratulations.
November. Yeah, thank you. It's been a weird year. We were basically married a few months before lockdown. And we were
Yeah.
like, oh,
Wow.
we hate each other. And then had to like learn how to like live with each other without ever being able to leave the apartment. And now I would say our bond is like a lot stronger, but that was tough at first.
Just because you're kind of like on top of each other all the time.
Yeah, and we both were working, or I was like trying to find work, and I would get things here and there, and he works full time in insurance, so he was just always on the phone. And we have a 1-bedroom apartment, and I was like, we got to get out of here. And
Yeah.
that's why we came out here. And things have been a lot better because we have so much more space. We were used to, first of all, hadn't even lived together that long, but used to like him being at the office 4 days a week and, just having space.
Mhm.
So now things are a lot better, but that was a huge learning curve. And I bet it was a huge learning curve for a lot of couples of all different like lengths, because I don't think you're ever used to just being in one room with each other all the time kind of thing, or 2 rooms,
Yeah, no one's used to everyone being home all the time. Like I went home a
No.
little bit to be with my family, and there was 5 of us there all day.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard as an adult, as an artist too, because like, where are you gonna sing? Where are you gonna learn your lines? You have no peace and quiet.
Absolutely, absolutely. There was a couple times I was self-taping, and my mom, you can hear her in the background, like having a full conversation. I was like, I told you I was doing this. I was like, can you please be quiet?
It's impossible. You
Yeah.
you feel like you're 17 again.
Mhm. Mhm.
It's so weird. So I totally understand why you would want to be in your own places. We're lucky. This is my in-laws' summer place, so they're here on the weekends. But during the week, we're able to work here, and like it's largely quiet, and there's a backyard. So it's just been really helpful. But we're looking to come back to LA now in probably October. So
That'll be nice to have you back, but I'm sure
know.
because from what I've seen, like of the turkeys and the beach and all the stuff going on over there, it seems super fun.
There were 9 full-on fully grown turkeys in the backyard yesterday. And we just didn't even know what to do. We were just like, it's so weird. And we were eating turkey burgers once when they came up to the window.
Oh
And we
no!
You're like-
lost my appetite. I was like,
you're like,
"Ugh."
Like, do you think they know?
I don't think they know anything. They don't seem like a very bright species. But-
That's amazing.
and they're kind of mean. I
Are
looked at
they?
Yes, I looked at my husband. He was having a conference call like week 1 of being here, like June, and he was backing up on the phone. And I was like, "What's going on?" And he was surrounded by turkeys, and he was afraid. He was so afraid. It was just like,
That's really funny. I feel like if a turkey was coming at me, I don't know if I'd like it.
they're
I
I don't
scary.
think I'd like it either.
I'd be like,
They're
"That's not fair."
big.
Yeah.
When you're outnumbered like that, for sure.
And they just got those. They're not known for being very nice. They got those beaks, and they're just. I like looking at them through the window, but when they're right next to me, I get scared. Like, oh god.
Oh, that's so funny. I don't think
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen one in person
Why would you?
live.
Why would you? Unless you were in literally like Plymouth, Massachusetts, basically where we are, and they are everywhere.
Wow.
Well, if you want to see a turkey, you know where to go.
Yes, you can go right here
Yes.
where Thanksgiving was, made.
Speaking of Massachusetts, have you been to Salem?
Oh my God, no. I was just talking about this yesterday because I'm dying to go.
Alexa and
never
I have
been.
been dreaming of going together.
Really, you should go. If
Yeah.
I go, I don't know if we're going to go this year. I'm going to try to either go there or Maine or somewhere like soon because of the fall stuff. But if I go, I will send you pictures.
Oh my
But
God, please.
I really want to go.
Oh, that'd be great.
I'm
I
not
wanna see all
related
the
to
stuff.
my aunt, but my aunt through marriage, she's related to John Proctor from like the Salem witch trials.
No way.
Wow.
Yes, I want to go so bad. I heard that it's very spooky and like, they play it up a little bit for the tourists,
Yeah.
but I just want to see it.
I'm sure like especially right around this time of year,
Yeah.
it's probably pretty good.
Yeah. It's just cool around here this time of year. And it's been a long time since I saw fall like slowly happen. So I'm enjoying it. It's nice to be home.
Yeah, I miss fall on the East Coast for sure. That's
Yeah.
like one of the main things I do miss. So
Yeah, same. But at least Trader Joe's makes it feel like fall in LA because like
It
you
does.
walk down the aisle and you're like, oh, here we are.
Pumpkin, everything.
Pumpkin
Orange everywhere.
Yeah.
Orange
It really
everywhere.
helps us out.
Yes. Applause for Trader Joe's for that. Thank you.
Seriously. It really was a big help. It's a big help to me when I'm there.
It
And
is.
sometimes you get some fall stuff. They have some you have to like go looking for fall in LA is all.
Yeah.
You have to like make the choice. But it's still doable.
Totally. Do you have any cool projects coming out, Brittany?
I actually, so it's funny that you were like, I have to ask you about Double Mint
Double
Bitch.
Mint Bitch. And you played
Wait.
Pam.
Yes. That's right. I didn't even think of that.
So you acted in
Yeah.
it, you produced it, you
I
wrote it
wrote
as
it.
well?
I
Mhm.
did. I took like a sketch writing class at Second City early on in the year in January. And then I had this idea based on like an experience I had at a new job one day. And so I wrote it down. And so we just finished editing that today. So I'm pushing it out to a couple of film festivals and then we'll be putting it
Congratulations.
online. Oh, thanks.
Yeah,
It's like-
congrats. That's very exciting.
yeah, it's been a long time finishing it, just like from different states with like everyone, like my editor was, away and then I was away and all this stuff. We finally finished it. So that'll be out. Probably I'll put it out next week and I'll be submitting it to these festivals over the next couple of days. So I have that coming out at least. So that's something.
Very exciting, Brittany. Congrats.
Hey.
Thank you. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Just that. And I just want to keep, doing silly videos and
Please keep
Oh.
doing silly videos. They're so fun.
thank you.
They
I forgot
are.
to tell you guys that my grandma is not a fan of Martha Vineyard.
What does she say?
She said it's silly. But Zach's grandma is. So I say 1 out of 2 grandmas approve.
I love that.
Very cute.
But I think I'm a part of a new musical at Carnegie Hall in January if New York opens for theater. So we'll be
Awesome.
doing like a weekend.
Iconic.
I'm so excited and I hope it happens because that would be the best start to 2021 ever. It's this new musical about Mozart and it's very like it's really cool. It's very like modern meets Mozart kind of thing. So I'm really hoping that comes through in January and
Oh, fingers crossed. That would be so cool.
thanks.
Putting good vibes into the universe for that, for sure.
Thank you.
Carnegie Hall, badass.
Yeah, it's with the same producer that we are working on this other musical about the Dolly sisters. Have you heard about the Dolly sisters?
Yes, and I saw you post about it, and I was like, this is so freaking cool.
Yeah, I'm really excited. So we've been laying down some demos for it, and I've been helping like research the Dolly sisters, like kind of like almost like an extra person in the room. Like I can actually throw in some ideas, which is really cool because I never
Cool.
have gotten to do that for musical before. But if all goes according to plan, we will be doing like a 54 Below show of the music in 2021 and trying to use virtual reality to play opposite myself, which I don't know how that will work, but that would be really cool.
You're going to have to come back on the show and talk to us about that because that is so, we are obsessed with that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
I
we
don't
need to
know
have you back on for sure.
I don't even know how it would work, but it would be, I love a challenge. So I'm down to do it. And yeah, that's it. Those are the things keeping me holding on for 2021. I'm like, please, that'd be great.
I love that. Congratulations.
Oh, thanks.
All of that.
Thanks.
Alexa.
What about you guys? You guys have stuff coming up or things you're working on outside of the podcast, which you've been so consistent about? It's awesome.
Thank you.
It's been fun.
It's been so fun. I should say, I shouldn't speak for both of us. Just, auditions here and there and really investing a lot of time in this because it's kind of my little baby, I think, our little baby.
Yeah.
But yeah, just kind of,
We made a baby.
we made a baby.
I think podcasts are all the rage right now. It's such a perfect way to continue to invest in like your creativity into something and have a voice, and you can do it like this from your rooms. So it doesn't like put anybody in jeopardy when COVID is happening. It's so smart.
Yeah.
I'm glad you have this.
Thank you. Yeah, it's definitely been super fun and Alexa's so fun to work with. It's kept
Aw,
us like productive and focused and like it It sounds so strange because it almost seems like something more to like add onto the plate, but when you have something consistent that you're trying to like meet every week, it almost makes it easier to take on other things because you already have some like momentum going. So
It's
it's nice to
structure.
have that. Yeah, that
Yeah.
structure. That's
And
exactly
it's
right.
nice that you guys work together so well. And that's the whole battle, really, is finding someone that you work well with and have that chemistry with. And you guys definitely have it. So I think that's awesome.
Thank you.
It's also been a great way to connect to other people like you.
Yes.
Yes.
Everyone
I'm
that's had on. It's been great.
I'm so happy to see you guys.
So happy to see
This is
you.
so fun.
Alexa,
Okay.
do you want to ask her the important last question?
Yes. Yes, Brittany.
Mhm.
Are you okay?
Not always. I have definitely not been even near okay at times this year for all the same reasons that I feel like probably most of your guests have been saying. No, but I feel for the first time in months hopeful, and that is making me feel closer to being okay. And so it goes up and down probably every day, but I'm feeling more okay now than I felt in a while. So, but no,
That's so good.
largely no.
Largely no.
Largely no. If I had to say like, okay, have I been okay for this quarantine? No. If you ask my husband, he'd be like, no.
Yeah, that's the real person. Like, I feel like same too with like my boyfriend. I'm like, oh, maybe you should be asking him if I'm okay. He probably knows more than I do.
Alexa
Your
just
boyfriend is
moved in
so
with
cute.
him.
Okay, I
They
saw
just
the
moved in
pictures.
together.
I didn't know if it was like a new relationship or what, but he's adorable.
We've been dating for quite a while now.
Oh,
And that was actually a positive thing that came out of the whole quarantine, is that he has been able to work his job remote, so it allowed him to move, which has been really nice.
that's awesome. Where was he living before?
In Pittsburgh, we met in high school.
Stop. That is so cute. My husband and I have known each other since we were, I don't know, in high school too, because he was one of my brother's best friends. I love that. You have like that.
Yeah.
I
foundation.
love that. I love that you guys have known them forever. But you like haven't, Brittany, you've known your man since that long, but like you guys never really like looked at each other that way, I guess. I think you
I
said
mean, we
until
were
later
always,
on, or it never worked timing wise.
well, he's like 3 years younger than me, which when you're like 17 is like a huge, I was like, absolutely not. And then we got older, but I had this long-term boyfriend and he was getting out of college, and we actually spent a week together on the Cape out here for vacation once. And I was like, Zach's like really cute. And I remember feeling really guilty because I had a boyfriend. And then my boyfriend and I broke up, and then I moved to LA, and that was when Zach moved to New York. And then he got a girlfriend. So like just nothing ever really lined up. But most Christmases I would like text my best friend, and I was like, sometimes I just think I'm going to end up with my brother's best friend. And I'd forget about that I had said that. I'd say it again the next Christmas. And then there was one Christmas where we were both single, and we've been together ever since.
Amazing.
Awesome.
Timing is such a big deal.
It is. I remember he had just broken up with his longtime girlfriend, and we were at the Cape. It's like such a common theme in our relationship. And my brother was like, I want to invite Zach to come like hang out. And I remember thinking, I don't think I should see him right after he got out of a relationship. And I had no reason to say that because we were friends. We get coffee in the city together all the time. And I said no. I was like, no, I don't want to hang out with Zach tonight. And I didn't see him for another 6 months. And then I felt like we were both more in a place to see each other. And that was when we started dating. It was weird.
Wow.
Yeah.
The gut thing always, it fascinates me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because you don't want to be someone's rebound, someone that you've like kind of been interested in for a long term. You're like, I can wait a little while longer.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Alexa.
Oh.
You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. Are you okay?
No, definitely not okay. Definitely not okay. Today though, I would say a little better than okay. I'd say I'm doing well. Doing well. It was really nice to, I mean, we mentioned this before, but it was really nice to have an audition to tape. But more than that, like it just was really nice to play with like decent material too. Like get time to spend and kind of dive into something was really nice. That's why I ran over. and I was late, but yeah, so that was really, you know, it's been a while since I feel like I've really gotten to dive into something that deep. So it was kind of fun. It was really fun to play, and yeah, so I'm in a good mood.
Yay. And your hair looks extra bouncy today.
You look
Thank you.
awesome.
Thank you.
You look more than okay. Hair makeup always helps, man.
It does.
Mm-hmm.
It really does. Yeah.
I'm glad that you got that today. I think that that's awesome.
Totally.
It's been a long time. So
Yeah, and I also feel like now I'm more grateful for it than I was before. Like, I think before I was like always like, oh, like why, you know, I need auditions and blah blah blah, whatever. But now I'm like so grateful for the opportunity when it comes, and then I do it, and I'm like, okay, that was nice, and I'm gonna enjoy that, and then wait, you know, if the next thing comes, great. Like, I'm just less stressed about it, I guess, because it made me more grateful to have the, you know, the opportunity and be able to just act, like, more than just having an audition, right? I get to act today. That's
exactly. I love that. Yeah, I really love that.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Ham,
Yes.
are you okay?
No. Today I'm better than okay. Really grateful that I had my auditions this morning. I think they went well. I'm very pleased, and that doesn't always happen. So I'm very happy about that. And I'm wearing this like fun yellow shirt that it just makes me feel like sunshine.
I was gonna say, I was like, I really like this color.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I like never wear bright colors ever. But I
Oh,
think I'm gonna change that.
They look really nice on you.
yeah.
Thank you. I'm not fishing, but I'm just very excited about
Yeah,
it.
no,
I'm just very excited.
I always wear like black. I'm like, that's my uniform. I'll just wear black
Me
every.
too. I have like just only like black, like long sleeves and like cardigans in my closet, really, and like leather jackets and things like that. But this is a nice change. But
Color's good.
the little brightness is nice. So yeah, I'm just feeling positive today. So that's good. I'm better than okay today.
Yay.
But we'll see what happens tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's always
Okay.
Brittany, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. This was so fun, and I really was looking forward to it. Thank you so much.
We're so happy we had you. Where can our listeners follow you?
On Instagram at Brittany Bertier, BrittanyBertier. I'm there. I'm on YouTube, Facebook. I'm not on Twitter because it got hacked and I can't get it back.
Oh, I hate that.
Who cares? It's only for politics and celebrities crying and like apologizing. So
Crying and apologizing. Messing up, apologizing, and whining.
yeah, exactly. I'm like, I'm over this anyway.
Twitter is not my jam. Like,
No.
Instagram's probably my favorite.
It's still my favorite. Yeah. I tried the TikTok thing and I feel like I'm a little too old for it. So Instagram's where I lie.
I feel that way too, but the dances are like super fun.
I love watching them. But like if I try to do them, I'm like, my grandma.
Alexa and I tried doing one of them the other
I want to
day.
see.
We didn't film ourselves doing
Learn
it.
one of them because
It
we're like,
was-
it's really fun.
It was the WAP dance.
I don't even know that I know that's how out of it I am. I don't even know if I know what that one is. I know of the song, but I don't know.
Yeah.
That's a fun one. Yeah, just a lot of booty shaking, but definitely not on TikTok, but we like tried it.
How'd it go?
Not well.
I mean, we didn't injure ourselves, so that's good. Like,
I
it
like
was
looked to
fun.
Alexa to see her reaction because
Yeah,
she's
you
the
did.
dancer out of the two of us. I'm like, how did it go? She's like, change the subject.
It's not an easy dance. It's not easy.
TikTok dances are harder than perceived. Yeah.
Yes, totally.
Well, if you ever record one for your Instagram reel, I will be down to watch it. It's entertaining. There's a reason why they go viral.
That's true.
Oh my God, so funny.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again on that note. We'll leave it on that.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you. You're the best.
You guys are the best.
Have a good day. See you guys soon. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you, guys.
Bye. Thanks so much for listening. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, all the things. If for some reason you want to see more of us, you can follow us on Instagram at NoOne'sOK.
And a special thanks to Jordan Ross Weinhold, Sean Moore, Jason Crow, Claire Palmer, Jackson Palmer, Tiffany Haymoff, Shane Rings, James Liddell, and our podcast is recorded at Soundworks Studios.
We can't wait to meet you!